Okay. Maybe. Sorry, I forget one guy. Whoever you are, one guy, just keep quiet.
Is it game audio or is it?
He didn't say. He just said like audio. Don't worry about it.
Fucking one guy.
You know who you are. Yeah, fuck it.
Alright. Okay, I'm going to start the speedrun now. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. This has got a great soundtrack. Hopefully you saw the tutorial there, because I explained most of everything. So this is Helen's Mysterious Castle. It's an RPG Maker game. I think it was made using the RPG Maker 2 XP engine. Alright, let's just get back to where we were. Level up longbow once. Carrying great swing, his defense is 0, so these 2 shots do quite a bit of damage. So, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the battles are deterministic. If you choose the appropriate commands, the enemy will always respond the same way. Kind of just based on the damage or speed of the command you choose. And instead of having your standard RPG commands, like you'd see like in a normal turn-based combat system, instead all of your commands are basically everything that you pick up, all of your inventory items. And you can only hold up to 8. And you can spend experience that you gain from defeating enemies to upgrade them. And the primary speedrun strategy will to just focus all upgrades on basically the most effective weapons, like right off the bat. If you know what those are, you can gain a huge advantage throughout the game. But typically, like in a casual playthrough, you'll kind of experiment around, and since you don't really know how the enemies respond, it is a pretty difficult playthrough the first time. But yeah, this custom battle engine is really nice, really impressive stuff. Fortunately, there is still a little bit of RNG, and this guy is trolling. He needs to do great swing. There it goes. That drops his defense to 0, has a long wait period, so I can still get these little shots. So we're going to go out of bounds. Okay, we already did that. We're going to get the Thunder spell. So spells are another type of inventory item. 18. Okay, yeah, that's correct HP. Another type of inventory item characterized by a long wait period of piercing damage that ignores enemy defense. Turns your defense to 0 as well. So that was the mummy skip. That's kind of hard to dodge, that charging mummy. Make sure to level that up before boss. One feature I like about this game is real quick saving loads. So this guy's bulldoze. This takes such a long time that it's a prime time to cast the thunder ability. Shield wants to prevent us from dying. Another thunder should get him pretty close. And because I barely leveled up longsword just a little bit, just enough to kill him with just that last 4 damage. The only way you gain hit points is by finding them just kind of scattered throughout the game in pots, or by defeating some bosses. Let's see, gotta get this, kite this harpy. Alright, so this is a little annoying. Did not want to fight her. So that's what's really nice about the quick save loads, real quick, you can only choose one of these 2 doors to get, and this is my first passive item, the power bangle. This guy actually how this guy responds. Alright, cool. Little extra experience. Okay, didn't get it by there. We wanted full health for this next boss fight. And get this to level 4. Make a save. This is... Griffin is somewhat of a dynamic boss fight. We want to kind of time out our attacks such that we only attack when there's a... Like, when our longsword is level 4 and we start attacking with the longsword forces in the guard, usually. So there's a guard. So 2 of them to bait out a second guard, and you have to wait timer be really high so that I can nuke it with thunder before he can hit me with the claw attack. Because when I'm casting thunder, my defense is 0. So I'll attack with the longsword. Bait out a couple more guards. That should be quite a good period there. Now he's casting wind. That's also a spell piercing, so it's another enemy without defending against the enemy. So I'm not able to survive that. You need 13 or more weight on the guard to be able to successfully cast thunder and hit. And there goes the Griffin, and that's the intro to the game. I'm about a minute and a half behind already. Quick first couple of bosses, short cutscene here. I'm trying to remember the story in this game. It's sort of like a role reversal RPG. You sort of play the iconic monsters that you always encounter in RPG games, JRPGs. And so this castle is sort of the place that all of the monsters were banished to in some RPG trope, I suppose. And you're kind of, as Helen, you're kind of realizing your place here, and actually your brother is kind of high up in the monster hierarchy, but his actions from here on out are just to benefit his sister's life, and we'll kind of see how that progresses later. Grab some of the food from the table here, and use our new shortcut to go back, and we access our first town. There's just a couple of triggers to hit in this town before we get up the next dungeon. That's the healing shrine. Gotta talk to this piano girl for some reason. A lot of my strategy is built around having exactly enough HP to survive some of the final fights in the game. A couple of them will survive with like 1 to 3 HP. So it's imperative that I don't miss any of these breakable pots. There's kind of an... Oh god, that guy was particularly close. So I don't want to... Okay, good. Save it again, because if I fight that lizard, man, it's over. I have to reload a save. You can skip by this harpy, but it's super hard. I'll just fight her and then have to heal a little later. We get access to the healing spell in just a little bit. We're currently tasked with acquiring the healing spell to heal the blacksmith's wife. We didn't go talk to her, but trust me, she needs healing. So here's the heal spell, and here's it. So we're in the Demon King's lair. In order to unlock this part, you have to stand here in the menu, and just as an idle animation, Helen strikes a pose, and the dude's like, nice pose. And that triggers the, I guess, the appearance of his cronies. So even though, I guess this Demon King and his, henchmen are sort of your iconic, RPG bad guys, you don't, when you're participating in the story, you don't kind of realize that you're also a part of their organization too, but they're just kind of being themselves, I guess. So, yeah, the next task at hand is to go throughout this lair and defeating each of his minions, and then go to defeat the Demon King. But before we do that, we're gonna pull some trickery to level up real fast and make most of the fights in the rest of the game trivial. There's a sort of metal slime-like enemy called the Platinum Slime. There's only one, and it doesn't respawn, so we only get one chance, but it gives it a ton of HP, so it's worth doing. And this is super dark. I have to lean in. I should be able to see where these guys are. Okay, so this slime is running around super fast. I don't want to lose him. There we go. Okay. And he'll hit me quite a bit. I need enough HP to survive this guy, but one thunder is enough to take him down. See, he keeps using body blow, real high defense, real fast. So a spell is pretty much the only way to do it, so it gives me a nice 30 XP. And we're gonna Death Warp here. Where's this guy? Now I'm gonna purposely cast a spell for the 0 defense long wait period so that I can die. And then that warps us back to town. Whenever you die, on occasion, like depending on where you die at, your brother makes you some food, sets it on the table, and it gives you some X HP. So that's actually necessary to survive later on, since this is one battle I will come out of with 1 HP. But also conveniently, it sends us back to town real quick. Because we need to go back to town. Now, since we have the healing spell, we can heal the blacksmith's wife, and we can kind of get the bonuses that the blacksmith provides. So there's the heal spell. I talked to her from the left side because otherwise Helen would walk instead of run to this exact position. Anyways. And, additionally, the blacksmith also has to heal his wife in order for him to make the jail key. But in addition to that, he can also, if you notice in your inventory, you can upgrade your weapons, but only up to +9. The blacksmith can actually upgrade it one more time, whoops, back this way, to the SP level. But he can only do this like once every like 5 minutes, or something like that. So we're going to use the time to grind out a few more levels so we can actually afford to level up longsword to 9. And then go back to the blacksmith, grab the key, and then immediately talk to him again to get our first upgrade. Having longsword SP right off the bat is really valuable. So even though longsword was one of the first weapons we got, none of the items in this game are really obsolete. Like even the longbow that we got is unique. Like we'll also get other bows, but you know all weapons are only characterized by their effective. Oh shoot! This is the longbow shot. Probably the best idea. Great. This is the third one. I got to keep track of the battles we're getting here. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I needed to swap the position of longsword and longbow in my inventory to make this a little bit easier. I'll survive as long as I have 8 or more HP. I think that was battle 4. So this is just a real easy spot to grind. The Harpy gives decent experience, dies pretty quick, and you can respawn super fast here. I think that was 5. It took more damage than usual. So in order to actually heal yourself out of battle, it uses one of the levels of heal. But using it in battle doesn't reduce the level. So this is battle 6. But yeah, as I was saying, it's not... is this right? Okay, so it's not a huge deal. That's why I was taking a little more damage, because the longsword's defense goes up. There we go. It still takes 2 hits though. This is battle 7. Well, essentially, we just need enough battles to afford to do the final level up to longsword 9. So I think this is 8. And yeah, so all the weapons are relatively balanced. There's advantages and disadvantages each. You can find uses for the longbow later on, since it's like one of the short weight weapons. Even though its damage is real low, it's nice to like stick in and attack while an enemy is charging, like a spell or something. So it should be 8 HP or higher. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It saves just in case. There we go. 7 is the most damage. So I think it's about 15 battles is unfortunate. Once we get longsword SP, almost everything can be one shot. Except for bosses. Alright, almost out of here. Yeah, it turns out that there's several other swords that you can get that have varying weight, effectiveness, and defense values. But longsword is actually quite effective. It has a relatively low weight compared to the rest of the swords. There are way more items than what I'm going to collect throughout the game. This might be the last one. We'll see before longsword plus iron. Alright. Hey, let's roll. And oh god. Went through the doorway. Alright, well, one more for good measure. And then, so yeah, in addition to the attack items, there's also passive items. I picked up earlier the power bangle, which by having it in your inventory increases the effectiveness or rather, attack power of all the other items by 1. And we'll also pick up the speed shoes later. So just a quick heal, get the jail key from this guy, and at the same time, longsword SP, which will boost the attack just by a little bit more. Okay. But yeah, you can like level up every weapon to SP if you really take the time to do it. Get in there. So yeah, you move real fast in this game when sprinting. And if I get into a battle with these guys now, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna skip it, finally. It skips like impossible. Even though it takes like 5 seconds. So on to fight the Demon King's minions. Assault the castle here. Okay, so each one of these like sub-areas is like a miniature puzzle. This is actually really annoying. If I push the barrel past the button, I have to reset the entire room. So this is another annoying one. I gotta manipulate this guy to jump on this button. Okay, that actually went really well. It's hard to get past that guy and that guy. Incredible. Okay, that doesn't normally happen. And I don't know why I'm just checking here, but I'm pretty sure you just mash the button. Since we're so overpowered, a longsword will just crush through some of these bosses because we just got it. Even though we got this game, it's obviously most effective as soon as you get it. Each one of these bosses has sort of a gimmick in how they attack you. This one in particular has a stun period, which just kind of delays your weight each time it hits you, but he just can't stand the power of the longsword SP. And they each have some little goofy dialogue every time you defeat them. And we gotta backtrack through these. Unfortunately, there's no puzzle aspect when backtracking. Some more enemies. And these statues can stun you. It's pretty annoying. Like that. Oh, get out of the way, dude. Okay. And the gimmick here is damaging terrain. Boss's gimmick is this poison effect that just does guaranteed damage to you on every turn. Just in case. Save just in case. Okay. Sword, and this should... Okay, because Venom breath is guaranteed. This guy does have he changes it up a little bit. So this should go off while he still has Venom blow defense, so longsword finish him off pretty easily. 2 of the minions down. If I remember correctly, this is kind of a new scene. Full with ASCII art in the text box. Just backtrack again. Okay, this really matter. Longsword SP has such high defense and high effectiveness for this point in the game. We just kind of crush through it. This is the walks. I think this is the walks. So the gimmick in this room is that if you run fast, like on stream, you should be able to hear no music, just like Helen's footsteps. If you either get into a battle or accidentally run before you reach the next doorway, the boss won't let you come in. So now you can run. And this boss's gimmick is sealing. He has an attack where it'll seal the current attack that you're using. So all we do is basically throw away heal and wooden shield. Don't actually need to heal, but we just don't want him to seal the longsword. Use anything but the longsword. I'm kind of interested. I'll get a couple of bosses here later on with the sealing ability. Easy money. Kind of weird, like, golem that's obsessed with books and silence. Yeah, some pretty interesting... Oh, wait, I don't need to walk him anymore. You can run. He's dead. What? Okay. Yeah, these guys can kind of troll. So this enemy is a little weird. He'll kind of... The attack that he's doing kind of lies. He can switch his current attack. So if you're choosing your tactics based on what his current move is showing, he'll usually switch it up and just hit you. But the longsword SP is way OP. Now we're going back into that just in. I gotta lean forward to see in the darkness, so I can skip maybe a couple of encounters. There it is. Oh, it's pretty close. Where's this guy? I don't see him. Okay. Oh, okay. Don't know why I saved. I'm pretty sure you just smashed the button on this guy. Yep. And we're about to finish off the Demon King's castle. And this guy's gimmick is that you simply can't see his HP or what attack he's using. To make up for it, he is really easy. He's toast. Easy. And with that, the center pentagram opens, and we can visit the man himself. Oh, gotta lean forward again. Okay, enough. I actually can't see this at all on this monitor. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. And something we're gonna get here is a nice, I call it the only skip in the game, where this is supposed to be a door puzzle, and when you exit these doors, it's supposed to close behind you, but if you buff holding up, you can go back through the door and it just trivializes the puzzle. And you can get the speed shoes, which are another passive item that decrease the wait period of every item in your inventory by 1. And as you can imagine, especially for slow weapons like longbow, that's a huge difference. It's now a weight of 4 instead of 5. So just in general, that's just going to help throughout the whole game for every ability you use. This guy is a little bit dynamic. There's one thing he can do that's kind of weird, and if he doesn't do it, it's just long sword of death. So, and it's pretty easy to watch out for, but he can do this ability called Darkness, which has a real long wait period, but it does like 50 piercing damage, and that's almost all my health, so I'll have to, if he does it pretty early on, I'll have to kind of anticipate it, heal, place a few extra ones. Not a huge deal, though. I love these the custom battle animations. It's pretty awesome. There's Darkness right away. Alright, so heal 14, longsword is 9, so... This is fun. Yes, I want to have the heal land right after Darkness hits. Second Darkness. What the douche. This might be fine. I can just wail on him, I think. We're gonna top off. Is it a kick? Okay, he didn't kick. I think I can survive this. No, I might be dead. Man, that was weird. I think I'm dead. That's 20. Yeah, I'm totally dead. Well, it was fun. Quick save and load. So that's weird. Usually that fight's fine. I think that's the first time I've ever lost it. But we'll see what happens. I mean, that was early, like, double darkness. So apparently that can happen. Thankfully, we have quick saves and loads. No big deal. Let's see him get in the double darkness loop. We can figure a way around it. So his dialogue is really suggestive about his rippling muscles. And, oh, shoot. It's just long sword. Okay, well, in darkness. I guess we're good. I think I actually could have avoided that by topping off my HP. Like, I didn't have full HP going into battle last time. That might have been sense. There's darkness, but it's so late in the battle, it doesn't matter, so there you go. That time it was easy. That was unfortunate. That's only one of the few battles where you're at relatively high risk, I guess. Another one is like the final boss of the game. There's a couple of enemies in the final boss rush that are really nasty. But this is kind of like the midway point of the game. You kind of start to get a sense of the actual story after this point. You're not actually fighting the bad guys. These are just the people that are in the castle with you. And kind of learn a little bit more. And Helen's off to investigate. Helen just wants to... I think she just wants to go out and explore the world, doesn't want to be hooped up in here. And everyone's kind of, as she goes around telling her story or meeting everybody, they kind of start supporting her. Do not miss this health. Alright. Now we're going to the outer wall, which is like the second main area of the game. We no longer need this thunder spell. I'm actually going to just drop that. So even though you can only hold 8 items in your inventory, if you drop an item or replace one with an item you find, you can. There's a room you can find, like a hidden room that kind of stores all of the items you've ever acquired. So you can go there and like swap your inventory around. And here we get an introduction to some other characters whom we'll meet pretty soon. This is the Undead Knight, kind of the mysterious, like, anti-hero with a dark past, whom you'll have, sort of like your rival, I guess. We'll be fighting him a little bit later. And if I remember correctly, this is a great song. But like half the music is like stock RPG Maker music, and the other half is like custom composed MIDIs, and they're all like really, really good. Tossed Thunder, we're actually going to replace that with a sort of upgraded version of Thunder that does more damage but with a higher weight period called Wrath of Zeus. So that'll be our next objective here, and that'll be one of our primary damage dealers aside from Longsword for the rest of the game. A couple of these enemies are hard to dodge. The skeleton, oh, got him. And these are 2 forced encounters that are guarding the spell. See, Longsword continues to make quick work of this. But I not only highly recommend this game, but it's really fun to experiment with all the different items that you get, combinations of keeping items in your inventory and the passive items. Because sometimes you could like load up your inventory with passive items, and like have a single item that's extremely benefited by it, but then you won't have a whole lot of tactical options in combat. So you kind of strike a balance between stat increasing passive items and effective weapons for strategy. Kind of interesting. So that Wrath of Zeus was a little bit out of our way, and this is a real trolley room with enemies that are just really tight hallways. Like that enemy gimmick is the piercing dagger, which is a low weight, low damage weapon that pierces them, so it ignores armor completely. So it's kind of like it's sort of like a spell if it's piercing, but it's relatively fast, and you actually acquire one of those. So this is another shortcut back to the home base, and we're just entering that staircase to trigger an event that just kind of lets us proceed through this secret hallway here. I'm actually impressed that I haven't had a look at the notes a whole lot. Kind of keeping pace. And Undead Knight's there, he wants you to talk to him, because he has a story to tell, but you can actually just run right by him. And the train will, like, beat us to the punch anyways. Okay, so this is the null magic area. You can't get, like, a heal inside or outside of combat, or cast any spells. So I just wanted to make sure I healed out there. This is another enemy that does this heal. By that I mean, I shouldn't have done that. Let's just like Wrath of Zeus and see if we can just... Like normally I want a longsword, but you see it because I was an idiot. Just see how much damage that does. That's some good damage. So let's see if he does... Okay, we're good. Okay. Alright, we made it. That was real sloppy. Helen can't really talk. She also can't read. If you read any sign, she just says question mark. You can't read this. You never learn to read. You just can't read at all. If you answer this guy question mark, it skips like a 1.5-minute cutscene. Yeah. Okay, this has to be done a very particular way. I love this guy, so it's probably that animation, pretty cool. It's got a whole repertoire of crazy attacks. Alright, easy. It's nice to bait out that heal to drop his defense to 0. And we're already kind of approaching the end game. There's only one more main done left. But we're also going to do some backtracking and preparation for the final couple of battles. There's a couple of there's one more key spell that I need to get. And this is really bizarre. I'm going to save here. If you enter this door on the left side, it's like a double door. If you enter it on the left tile, the game crashes. Whoops. So you want to make sure you enter that on the right tile. It was really bizarre when I was first messing with the game. But it's okay. I'll look past it. That's RPG Maker. And here we are at the bottom of the castle, where Helen meets some of the heroes, of your typical heroes, and learns some of the real backstory of how the monsters in the castle are actually monsters and have attacked people in the past, a la typical RPGs. But it turns out that that was not by their own, I guess, free will. They were under control, so to speak. But this guy, Zach, I think, yeah, Zach, is sort of is the hero, I guess, and he thinks we are a part of the monsters. He's more of the second generation hero. He had like a father or like some kind of a great hero like 100 years before him, or something like that. Oh, seizure warning. Okay, sorry, I should have been ready. But so that's intense recollection of Helen's past, I guess. But another interesting display of the creativity that went into RPG Maker XP game. So in this thing, we're backtracking throughout this whole thing with the little fairy following us. All of the enemies have despawned, and the idea is you can talk to her on like almost every screen, and she says something different, teaches you some backstory. But we're going to take this opportunity of having all the enemies despawn to go and pick up a nice ability. Okay, this is right. I do this right also. So all the enemies are despawned except there's a special case. There's a chest that contains a mimic, the typical RPG enemy that kind of surprises you in a chest. That is the only enemy. So if you die to this thing, it kind of messes the game up a little bit and respawns a few enemies, but it sends you way back. So it's sort of like a death warp to save some time. Make sure this doesn't miss it. So it doesn't level up Wrath. So I'm just going to purposely cast Wrath Zeus. Long wait period, 0 defense to take some heavy damage. And I want to make sure So now we have a short menu here. We just got the spell of Quick Heal, which is the same as heal, it just casts it quicker. We want to power that up later. We want to power up Wrath Zeus now. Okay, we have enough. And go this way. Oh, we are also... Just change the ordering a little bit. We're going back to the beginning. Because this is sort of a cutscene. This is actually this way. The shortcuts are closed. The shortcuts that would kind of take you back to your house real fast. So we got to backtrack through the whole thing. So here the monsters have respawned. Like I was saying, these monsters wouldn't have been there, but I did the death warp, which kind of put the game into a weird state. And these guys should be a big deal to get around. Already back at the beginning. Back to your brother's house. Turns out your brother had some secrets random secret exit in the back of your house. Okay, this is sort of the final dungeon. I was gonna say, okay, some of these enemies are a little tricky to skip by. Particularly in this room here. Alright, what you got for me? It's going. Oh, we made it, nice. And then this griffin is crazy. Okay, we did it. Nice. Let's make HP 85 perfect. Okay, so I need 85 HP exactly, actually, for this boss fight. But before you talk to Zack here, you can actually knock over one of those pots and get an extra 2 HP. This battle with Zack is very particular. It has to be done very, very particularly. Barely survive with the current setup. And I did level raft. Right. Yes. Save just in case. Okay. So Zack still doesn't understand. He just thinks we're all bad guys. Zack is badass, by the way. The Kugelschreiber, which I believe means ballpoint pen. Raft 2? No, not Raft 2. This is wrong. This is all wrong. It's weird. It's like... Oh, I was reading it wrong. It's very simple, guys. All you have to do is read what the document says. Oh, one. So yeah, I was mistakenly cast Rapid Zeus again, but in my head it's a 0 Kugelschreiber doing a full 56 damage. So one of his gimmicks is the Spike Guard, which is just sort of like the shield, but it reflects damage, so the damage inflicted is sent back to the opponent. But because that was his last attack, or that was the killing blow, I didn't get hit. So we made it. Zack is finally understanding that we're not the real bad guys here. Alex, that was the 100-year-ago hero. So this game is just all RPG sort of tropes. I mean, it's kind of a reverse trope, and it's still pretty unique. I mean, the dialogue is fun. It's relatively well written. I mean, I think this was a Japanese made game, and then it was actually translated. I think it's available on Steam for like $2. I just picked it up randomly one day, like several months ago, and it ended up being really interesting. I think my first playthrough, maybe like 10 hours or something like that. I explored and found all the items and all that good stuff. So we have another. Oh, and here we have revealed the true menace. The guy who originally had sent all of the monsters of the castle upon the world, I think. We'll just go with that. Krace is the guy name. So at this point, we need to go back down to the base of the castle. You see Zack is recovering in bed. Oh, it's this way. We can take the shortcuts again. If I remember right, there's a nice song playing starting right now. So enjoy the tune. While you listen. +9, anything else? I think we're good. Are we fully healed? No, we're not. But I think there's a healing shrine coming up. So you absolutely need full HP for this upcoming boss fight. Actually, there is no healing shrine. Do we have? Yeah, we've got enough. Level up. Heal. Oh, this is the null magic area, dude. Okay. Perfect time to try and heal. Just means you get to listen to the song a little longer. One more. Need exactly. Okay. And let's try not to die, because from here on out there's no more saving. So this is sort of the final boss rush. Now the castle's minions finally rise up against their master to defend Helen and her cause. Her cause of simply just wanting to leave the castle and explore the world. But because she's a monster, there's all sorts of politics involved, right, guys? Okay, so first battle with Krace is kind of particular. He has a combination of some of the Demon King's minions' abilities. Like he'll poison you, and I think he can seal, and he can cast Drain. So this this is also a particular boss fight. This is what we got Raptor Zeus maxed out for, mostly. Is this the one that we barely survived? Oh yeah, survived. And there it is. That's why we needed to collect every pot in the game to quickly go through that boss fight and survive. Like, you can sit there and heal a lot, but okay, yeah, look at that curse. His Krace's main mechanic is that he can cast these spells that drop your max HP. So it would just prevent you from extending the battle. Healing won't do a whole lot when you can't heal. And what's kind of cool about this part, the next couple of bosses you actually get to play as some of the supporting characters, and you get access to their abilities, which I think is kind of neat. But because of that, since you haven't been building up those characters, it's not, you know, there was obviously no grinding or anything to do, so they're all meant to be relatively beatable. But one of them in particular is kind of spotty. The one where you play as Zack, who has some cool abilities, but the fight is kind of dynamic. It's cool just to see these awesome custom sprites in battle. I think the world record is like 42 something, maybe? 30 something? Japanese version. So with this guy, all you do is mash darkness. Yeah, we're not going to do that, but I think we will make the student at least. I wish I could show you some of those other moves, but this is by far the most efficient way to kill this guy. There's the Demon King battle. Got a couple more left. So if you're ever familiar with the RPG Maker, I guess, engine, this is an interesting scene just because there's a lot of kind of event triggers and enemy characters moving around. The animation is pretty well done for looks like a sort of a Super Nintendo era, like a Final Fantasy. Yeah, the sprites move around and animate. Pretty neat. And these two guys are going to hold off those dragons for me. And we get to control Badass Undead Knight. This is pretty simple. Spam Drain. Simultaneously deal damage. Deal damage and ignore defense. Pretty simple stuff for these first two fights, as you can see. When I first played this, I played around with all their abilities and still managed to get through this on the first try. But yeah, that's just the most effective way to dispatch these first two. Now this next one, where you play as Zack, I think it's Quetzalcoatl is the boss that we fight, is kind of dynamic. He can use some RNG, what he can choose, and it can change. So let's see if we can do this correctly. There's that the maid in the mayor's house, who turns out to be a badass, of course. Shoutouts to everyone's favorite anime of the year. More cool sprite event animation here. The dragon will fly you right over this guy. You could have walked around, but okay. Let's wait. No, Zack, the ultimate badass. Let's do it. He has his own raptors, and he can control his cool spike guard. Right here. Another bite. Good. Heal. Now this is already way different from my notes. Burning breath. Oh, his heel is nice. Let's see. Bible, shield, that damage back. Bite. I think that'll do it. Nope. 2 damage? No, dude. Wait, 12. What's that? Effect 64, defense 30. That's Kugelschreiber. Ballpoint pen. New job. Done. Alright. I don't think you'll hear the Germans use the word Kugelschreiber often. I think it's Kuli is what it's often abbreviated to. Remembering back to high school German class. Comes in handy in Helen's. But that's mostly it. We have the true final boss, Krace, once again. And I really don't want to mess up here. I'm just gonna focus. That's a lot to reload if I die. Look at that, effect 150, weight 50, so literally you just die. You don't get any more health than 99. So there goes the final boss. It actually was a little different at the end there. I think he did 1 additional drain than he normally did. And I wrote down to heal an additional time, but I didn't, so I'm glad I survived that, because it was a little while since I had previously saved. So that was the final boss in Dragon Quest fashion. There's a little bit of running around to do before you actually reach the credits. So, with that, we've banished him. Helen is free to explore the world now. We've convinced the hero that we're not so bad after all. Neither are the monsters. Everyone, let's party. Can I have a drink? Or a hamburger? And then I'm just gonna bail out. Now, to finish the game, you can go around and talk to all my monsters and just kind of get a sort of an epilogue dialogue from everybody. We're going back to our house, back to the summit of the castle to trigger the final sequence. And again, they close all of the secret, the shortcuts to kind of force you to go through and experience the story a little bit, I guess. Hey, the undead knight holed up in our house. Nice. Yeah, got a room available at this point now, I guess. Okay. This is going to be barely sub 50, actually. But we did it. And Helen gets to go and explore the world on her own. All right. Her brother can finally let go. And the hero and his fairy companion I guess that's a shout out to Zelda, maybe? Also get to go back to their homeworld. An artist is left alone. Time stops right after his first text box. There it is. All right, that was Helen's Mysterious Castle. If you like like any JRPGs and you have $2, buy it on Steam. It's pretty cool. It's fun to explore and just kind of figure out the game. It's a pretty easy speed run. It's really easy, but going through it is kind of difficult. I mean, there's a lot of trial and error with kind of seeing how enemies respond and seeing what weapons are effective. The battle system kind of reminds me of like Grandia. I mean, it's definitely like a tactical battle system that's all about an engine turnover, which I think is pretty cool. But thanks a lot, everybody. It's been quite fun. Coming up next, we've got Lufia 2 Ancient Cave. So this was just a warm-up. So if you want some real RNG, like we started off with the deterministic run, now we're just throwing it completely out the window. So, all right, stick around for Kobayi.